My name is Thomas Mitchell, and I am no longer just an ordinary guard. After the events at the Tower of London, the exile of the royal family spirits, the collapse of Project Silence, everything changed for me. I now work at Windsor Castle, but this time my duty is not just to provide security. I am now a guardian, the bridge between the living and the dead. 3 months had passed since that dreadful night. The media had explained the royal family's resignation as being for health reasons. Only a few people knew the truth. Thomas Mitchell, Sergeant Williams, and the 347 people we had saved. But the world was beginning to change. The monarchy was gone. The British Republic had been declared. However, Windsor Castle was still full of mysteries. My new job came with the title of Historical Preservation Specialist, but in reality, I had a different job: to investigate paranormal activity in the old royal facilities and neutralize the dangerous ones. On my first evening on the job, Dr. Sarah Chen, the person in charge of Windsor Castle, briefed me. "Thomas," she said, looking at the old Tower of London files, "I hear you have special abilities." "What abilities?" "Communicating with spirits, seeing them, hearing them. Is it true you spoke with Anne Boleyn and others at the tower?" I nodded. "True, but they've found peace now." Dr. Chen looked concerned. "I'm afraid there are other spirits, and they are not at peace." "In Windsor? There have been strange occurrences over the last 3 months. The night watchmen hear strange noises, bell sounds, but there's no bell tower in the castle. Visitors hear footsteps down the corridors. And the scariest part." He paused. "What?" "Every week a member of the royal family dies. Natural causes, but the timing is very strange." He handed me a thick file. Members of the royal family who died in the last 3 months. When I opened the file, I saw a terrifying list. November 15th, Duke of Gloucester, heart attack. November 22nd, Princess Alexandra, stroke. November 29th, Duke of Kent, respiratory failure. December 6th, Earl of Wessex, sudden death. There was exactly 1 week between each death. This couldn't be a coincidence. Dr. Chen, were these all natural deaths? That's what the official report says, but they all died within 48 hours of visiting Windsor. What was at Windsor? We don't know, that's why we brought you in. I started my first night shift at 10 p.m. Windsor Castle had a very different atmosphere. The Tower of London was dark and sinister, but Windsor was enchanting and mysterious. The 900-year-old walls bore the traces of royal lives. Passing St. George's Chapel, I had a strange feeling. It was as if someone was watching me. I turned around, but no one was there. At 11:30 p.m., while patrolling around the round tower, I felt an icy cold. My breath started to form mist. Then I heard it. Dong, 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 the sound of bells. It seemed to come from far away, yet also very close, deep, melancholic, and horribly familiar. I checked my watch. 11:47 p.m., the bells continued. They rang 9 times. Then they stopped. But there was something else in that last bell, a whisper, very faint, but I could make it out. William? Prince William? But he wasn't a prince anymore. The royal family had abdicated. I called security on my radio. "This is Jim. Did you hear the bells too?" "What bells, Thomas?" "Just now at 11:47 p.m. they rang 9 times. "Thomas, we didn't hear anything here. There's no bell system at the castle either." I paused. Only I could hear them. Then a voice came from behind me. "Thomas Mitchell, I turned. Anne Boleyn was there, but very pale, almost invisible. "Anne? What are you doing here?" "You found peace." "We did. But you are the guardian now. When new threats arise, we come to help. What are the bells?" Anne's face darkened. "A very old curse. They're called the Windsor Bells. They ring when every royal's hour of death comes. But the royal family is finished. The bloodline doesn't end, Thomas. William is still the last heir of the House of Windsor, and the bells rang his name." My heart raced. "Will he die within 48 hours? "As long as the curse continues, yes." "How can I break this curse?" Anne looked thoughtful. "You must first find out who cast the curse. But be careful. This curse doesn't just kill the royal family. It also kills those who investigate it." "Where should I start looking?" "At the Royal Library. Windsor's oldest records are there. Secret documents kept since 1066. How do I get in?" Mother smiled. "You are the guardian. All doors are open to you." She vanished. I found the Royal Library, a huge room filled with books up to the ceiling, old reports, royal genealogies, historical documents. I started searching for Windsor Bells. I rummaged through the documents for hours. Finally, I found a manuscript dated 1348. "The Curse of the Death Bells. Chronicle of Brother Benedict." When I opened this manuscript, I read a terrifying story. In 1348, during the Black Death Plague, King Edward III was safe in Windsor, but he didn't care about the peasants dying from the plague. When they died, their bodies were burned and buried in mass graves. Brother Benedict was a monk who worked at Windsor Chapel. He sought justice for the innocent people who died during the plague. He rebelled against the king's indifference. King Edward accused Brother Benedict of being a troublemaker and sent him to the Tower of London, where he was executed. Before his death, Brother Benedict uttered a terrible curse. "Every member of the Windsor dynasty will die on this soil where innocent blood was shed, and when their hour of death comes, the bells will ring out their names." The manuscript continued. Brother Benedict's curse has endured for 700 years. 48 hours before the death of every royal member who dies in Windsor, the bells ring, and the curse will only end when royal blood is completely extinguished. This is terrifying. Not only will William die within 48 hours, but as long as this curse continues, all members of the Windsor lineage will be killed. But there was another note in the manuscript. The curse can only be broken one way. Brother Benedict's soul must find peace. His tomb is beneath Windsor Castle, in the secret catacombs. If his bones are buried in holy ground, the curse will end. Catacombs. There were secret catacombs beneath Windsor Castle. At that moment, the bells began to ring again, this time closer, louder. Dong, dong, dong. It was 0047. William had 47 hours left to live. Anne Boleyn reappeared. "Thomas, you heard the bells too. The curse is growing stronger. I must find Brother Benedict's tomb. The catacombs are very dangerous. Brother Benedict's spirit has been trapped there for 700 years. He is very angry, very powerful, but I must bring him peace." Anne shook her head. "This is your mission, Thomas. You are the guardian, but don't go alone. Tonight, at midnight, we will come with you." "You?" "All the spirits in the Tower of London. Brother Benedict is our brother. He was also killed unjustly. Perhaps we can persuade him." I waited until 1 a.m. Then I started looking for an entrance to the catacombs. In the basement of the castle, beneath St. George's Chapel, I found a secret passage. I went down with my flashlight. The stone stairs were very old. My footsteps echoed. The catacombs were terrifying. Narrow corridors, ancient burial chambers, and very old, decaying bones. The smell of 700 years of death. As I followed the corridor, I saw writing on the walls, in Latin, Innocentium sanguis clamet, the blood of the innocent cries out, mors tyrannorum, death to tyrants. Benedict monachus hic sepultus. Monk Benedict is buried here. I walked in the direction indicated by the last inscription. At the end of the corridor was a large door. A terrifying symbol was carved on it. A bell and a skull. When I opened the door, I saw a huge burial chamber inside. In the center was a stone coffin, surrounded by 9 bells, and between the bells, a spirit. Brother Benedict. He had been here for 700 years, perpetuating the curse. He turned to me, his eyes glowing like fire. "Who are you?" His voice sounded as if it came from the grave. "I am Thomas Mitchell. I am the Guardian." "Guardian?" He laughed, a terrifying laugh. "Guardian of the Windsor dynasty." "No, Guardian of justice." Brother Benedict paused. "Justice? I've been waiting for justice here for 700 years. Justice has been served. The royal family is gone. They've been dethroned. But they're still alive. William is still alive. The curse must be completed." At that moment, Anne Boleyn and the other spirits appeared. Thomas More, Lady Jane Grey, and the other spirits killed in the tower. "Brother Benedict," Anne spoke, "we too were unjustly killed. But revenge is not the answer." "Who are you?" "The spirits of the Tower of London, and we have found peace now." "You can, too." Thomas More approached. "Benedict, you have suffered for 700 years. Enough is enough. William is an innocent man. He's Windsor blood, tyrant blood." "No," I said. "He's just William Wales now, an ordinary citizen. He has children, a family, innocent people." Brother Benedict paused. "Really? Is the royal family truly gone?" Anne shook her head. "Thanks to our revenge. And now justice has been served. But what about my pain, my 700 years of pain?" "You were a good man, Benedict," Lady Jane Grey spoke. "You fought for innocent people. But the fight is over now. It's time for peace." Brother Benedict looked at the bells. They had been tolling the hour of death for 700 years. If I silence the bells, will the curse end?" "Yes," I said, "and William will live. His children will live. Innocent people will live." Brother Benedict thought for a long time. Then he approached the bells. "I have carried anger for 700 years. Perhaps it is time to let it go." He placed his hand on one of the bells. It fell silent immediately. He touched the others, silencing them one by one. When he silenced the last bell, Brother Benedict's face changed. Anger gave way to peace. "Thank you," he said. Finally, I have found peace." He vanished into the light, but at that moment, I heard a terrible sound. From above, from the castle, screams, and an urgent call on my radio. "Thomas, emergency! There's a fire at the castle, and someone's inside." The bells had fallen silent in the catacombs, but the screams coming from above froze my heart. Brother Benedict's soul had found peace, the curse broken. But what was this new danger? I ran down the corridor, up the stairs. Smoke was rising from the main building of the castle. Security teams were rushing around in a panic. "Thomas!" Dr. Chen shouted as he approached. "There's a fire in the King Edward III tower. The fire department is coming, but..." But what? Someone's inside. One of the younger members of the Windsor family, George Wales, William's son. My heart stopped. George was only 11 years old. Even if the royal family had abdicated, the child was innocent. Why is George here? In the middle of the night? We don't know. His family called looking for him. He was last seen here. Security cameras showed him in King Edward III Tower when the fire started. King Edward III Tower. The tower named after the very king who had Brother Benedict executed. This couldn't be a coincidence. How long will it take for the fire department to arrive? At least 20 minutes, but George can't wait that long. The fire is spreading very quickly. I looked at the fire. The flames were moving strangely, not like a normal fire, as if they were controlled, directed. Dr. Chen, is this fire natural? They say it's an electrical system failure. But, Thomas, the flames are very strange. They seem almost alive. At that moment, Anne Boleyn appeared. Only I could see her. Thomas, this fire is not natural. Brother Benedict is gone, but another spirit is here. Much more powerful, much angrier. Who? The spirit of King Edward III. Benedict's curse was broken, but Edward's curse still remains. He's been trapped here for 700 years, too. Why? Because he was also unjustly killed, poisoned by his own son. In 1377, I checked my history knowledge. King Edward III had indeed died under suspicious circumstances. What does Edward want? Revenge. The death of every member of the dynasty that killed him. George isn't responsible, but he's Windsor blood. Edward is trying to kill him. How can I stop him? You can't stop Edward, but you can save George. You have to go into the fire. I grabbed firefighting gear, oxygen mask, protective suit, rope system. I raced to the entrance of King Edward III Tower. The flames were terrifying, but strangely, they weren't burning me. It was as if the flames recognized me, accepted me as the guardian. I climbed the stairs. The flames grew more intense with each floor, and I heard voices, children screaming, "George, where are you? I'm here, up here." When I reached the 5th floor, I saw him. George was cornered, surrounded by flames. But these flames weren't touching him, just terrifying him. "George, I'm Thomas, the security guard. I'm here to rescue you." The flames. The flames are following me. They're like living things. He was right. The flames were alive. And right then, a figure appeared within the flames. King Edward III, killed 700 years ago. But his spirit was still trapped. Here, tall, warrior-like, his eyes blazing like fire. "Who are you?" he roared. "Have you come to stop me? I am Guardian Thomas Mitchell. Leave this child alone. This child is of Windsor blood, from the lineage of my killers. He must die. George is innocent. He's only 11 years old. Age doesn't matter. Blood matters. Windsor blood is cursed." Edward intensified the flames. George cried in fear. "Edward," Anne Boleyn appeared. "This child is not your fight." "Who are you, woman?" "I am Anne Boleyn. I was also killed by the royal family. But revenge is not the answer. You're just a wife. I am king. I have the right to seek revenge." Thomas More also appeared. "Edward, you've been suffering here for 700 years. Killing this child won't ease your pain. Then what will?" "The truth," I said. "Who killed you? Don't you want to know the truth?" Edward paused. My son. The Black Prince. He poisoned me. Are you sure? Or was that what you were told? My historical files came to mind. There were different theories about the death of King Edward III in 1377. Edward, your son, the Black Prince, died in 1376. You died in 1377. He couldn't have killed you. Edward was shocked. What? Someone else killed you. John of Gaunt, your other son. He killed you to seize the throne. Lies. There are documents. At the Windsor Royal Library. The true identity of your killer is written there. Anne interjected. Edward, if we show you the truth, will you let this child go? Edward looked thoughtful. If the truth is different from what I've known for 700 years, yes. All right. But first, let's get George to safety. The flames slowly died down. I picked up George, and we went down the stairs. When we got outside, the fire department had just arrived. Dr. Chen came running. George, are you okay? George was shaking but unharmed. There was a man in the flames, a very big, very angry man. Hallucination. Dr. Chen tried to calm me down. You might have seen it out of fear. But I knew the truth. Edward was still there, waiting. After handing George over to his family, I spoke with Anne. Are there real documents? Yes, but they're highly classified. In Windsor's deepest archives. How do I get in there? You need the royal seal, but you're a guardian. Maybe you have your own seal. I looked in my pocket at that moment. There was something there that wasn't supposed to be there, an ancient ring. It had strange symbols engraved on it. What is this? The guardian seal. It appeared when you upheld justice in the tower. With this seal, you can access all the royal archives. I went to the royal archives, the deepest level, the most secret documents. I showed my seal, and all the doors opened. I found the file, 1377, Death of King Edward III. Inside was a terrible truth. On the night Edward III died, only 3 people were in the palace. Edward, John of Gaunt, his son, and Richard II, his grandson. Official report, natural death. Secret report, John of Gaunt, orders, poison, in wine. Motive, throne succession. John of Gaunt had killed his own father for the throne, but the most shocking document was the last one. Richard II witnessed the murder. John threatened to kill Richard, too, if he spoke. Richard II had witnessed his grandfather's murder, but had been silenced. I took the documents and returned to King Edward III Tower. Edward was waiting for me. Did you bring the truth? I showed him the documents. Here's the truth. John of Gaunt killed you, not the Black Prince. Edward read the documents, his spirit shaken. For 700 years, I blamed the wrong person. And Richard II was a witness. He too was silenced by fear. My grandson knew and kept silent. Anne approached. Edward, now you know the truth. Is revenge worth it? Edward thought for a long time. No, John is dead. Richard is dead. They're all dead. I've carried hatred for 700 years for nothing. Now you can find peace. But the Windsor line is still here. George, William, are they really innocent? Yes. They're just children. They had nothing to do with the wars of your time. Edward looked at Thomas More. You were also killed by the crown. Why did you forgive? Because hatred kills me. Thomas replied, peace keeps me alive. Edward extinguished the flames. His face found peace. I've been angry for 700 years. Maybe Maybe it's time to rest now." "Yes," I said. "Rest now." Edward vanished into the light. The fire went out completely, but as the fire died, ancient writing appeared on the tower's wall. It was visible only for a moment, then vanished. "Altera maledictio surgit." "Another curse rises." Anne Boleyn looked worried. "Thomas Edward is gone, but something else is coming." "What?" "I don't know, but it's very powerful and very close." At that moment, an urgent call came over my radio. "Thomas, emergency, a call from Buckingham Palace. Something very strange is happening." "What's happening?" "All the paintings in the palace, all the royal portraits, they're moving." The sounds coming from the radio on the way to Buckingham Palace were terrifying. Security guard Mike Patterson was panicking. "Thomas, you have to see this. All the portraits are moving." King Henry VIII's portrait came off the wall and is walking. "Down the corridor. Calm down, Mike. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Dr. Chen spoke anxiously as he drove me to the palace. "Thomas, this is the third paranormal event in 3 days. Bells ringing at the tower, a fire at Windsor, now animated portraits at Buckingham. Are these connected?" "Yes," I said. "Since becoming a guardian, I've noticed that when the royal family leaves, they leave a power vacuum behind. This void is awakening old spirits." Anne Boleyn appeared in the car. Only I could see her. "Thomas, the situation is much worse than you think." "What do you mean?" "The spirits in the portraits aren't just kings from the past. They are the royal collection's darkest secrets. These portraits were never ordinary works of art." "Then what?" "Prison. A spirit is trapped inside every portrait. For centuries, the royal family imprisoned the spirits of their enemies in the portraits, and now they are breaking free." This was terrifying. There were thousands of royal portraits in Buckingham Palace, if there were spirits inside all of them. When we arrived at the palace, it was chaos. Security guards were outside, firefighters and police had cordoned off the area. But there were still staff inside. Mike Patterson greeted us. "Thomas, you finally made it. Terrible things are happening inside." "What did you see?" "King Henry VIII's portrait came down from the wall and is roaming the palace. Queen Elizabeth I's portrait is screaming in the stateroom. And the scariest part, hundreds of portraits are moving at the same time in the picture gallery. Who else is inside?" "Curator Dr. Victoria Adams and 2 security guards. We last saw them in the stateroom." "Okay, I'm going in." Dr. Chen looked worried. "Thomas, it's very dangerous. Maybe we should wait for the police special unit." "No. This is a paranormal situation. The police can't handle it. I'm a guardian. This is my job." I entered through the palace's main entrance. The corridors were ghostly, but strange sounds could be heard. Footsteps, whispers, and sometimes shouts. As I climbed the grand staircase, I saw the first portrait, King Charles the Bus. The king executed in 1649. His portrait had come down from the wall and was climbing the same staircase as me. "Who are you?" he asked. His voice had a full royal accent. "I'm Thomas Mitchell. Guardian." "Guardian? Guardian of which family?" "None. The guardian of justice, Charles Thorne's." I seemed surprised. "Interesting. I've been imprisoned in this portrait for 375 years. Who freed me?" "The balance of power has shifted. The royal family no longer exists. The Windsors are gone?" His eyes sparkled. "Finally, I've been waiting 400 years for that dynasty to disappear." "Why?" "Because they had me killed. They secretly supported Oliver Cromwell. They sold out a king from their own family." I checked the history. Charles had indeed been executed by his own parliament, but I didn't know the Windsor dynasty had betrayed him. Charles, you are free now. Why are you still standing here? For revenge, to find the last members of the Windsor dynasty. They no longer live here, but they still exist. William, George, Charlotte, Louis, they are all of Windsor blood. I will find them. At that moment, screams came from the stateroom. It was Dr. Adams's voice. Charles, come with me. I need to help those people. Why should I help you? Because you were also killed unjustly. You don't want innocent people to be killed. Charles thought, you're right. I don't want innocent blood to be shed. I'm coming with you. When we entered the stateroom, I saw a horrific scene. Dr. Adams was cornered. 2 security guards lay unconscious on the floor. Around them, 5 different royal portraits had come to life, surrounding them. Queen Elizabeth II, who are you? How did you get into my palace? King Henry VIII. Guards, seize these tyrannical intruders. King Richard III. Send them to the Tower. Execute them. King John Lackland. They've set foot on my lands. Queen Mary Throne. Burn them, heretical Protestants, each from a different era, a different century. But they all shared the same fury. Charles the Wise called out to them, stop. These people are innocent. Henry VIII turned to him. Who are you? This is my palace. I am Charles Stuart. And this is my palace, too. I have lived here since the 17th century. Impossible. You are dead. Like you. We're all dead, all trapped in portraits. But now, we're free. Elizabeth, I looked shocked. Trapped in portraits. I'm the Queen. No one can imprison me. Your Majesty, I said, you've been held captive inside those portraits for hundreds of years. Who did this? The House of Windsor. They imprisoned the spirits of all the old kings in portraits to prevent a power struggle. Henry VIII shouted angrily, the Windsors, that treacherous dynasty. They are descended from my daughter Elizabeth. No, I said. The Windsor dynasty came much later, in 1917. Richard III interjected, where did they get the name Windsor? From Windsor Castle. From your palace. All the kings were shocked. They had lived so long with the dynasty that stole the name of their own palace. Anne Boleyn appeared. Thomas is right. The Windsors imprisoned you, but now they are gone too. Henry VIII was shocked to see Anne. Anne, what are you doing here? I'm imprisoned too, Henry. After you had me killed, my soul was imprisoned as well. Anne, I'm sorry. I thought differently back then. The past is the past, Henry. But now we are all free. And instead of seeking revenge, we should find peace. Queen Mary, I objected. Peace? I've been imprisoned for 500 years. I must have revenge. On whom? Anne asked. The Windsors are gone. There is no king now. Dr. Adams spoke from the corner. Please don't kill me. I'm just the curator. Elizabeth, I looked at him. What's a curator? I preserve artworks. I preserve your portraits. You were keeping us imprisoned? No, I was just looking after them, cleaning them. Charles. I interjected. He's innocent. The real question is, what do we do now? Henry. Veit looked thoughtful. I've been angry for 500 years. I've carried hatred. Maybe it's enough now. Richard III added, me too. War, intrigue, death. It's all exhausting. Anne Boleyn smiled. Peace is much better. I found peace in the Tower. Can we find it too? Asked Elizabeth. Of course, but first you must do something. What? We must convince the other spirits in the picture gallery. There are hundreds of portraits there. They're all filled with the same rage. Henry VIII stood up. Then let's go. As a former king, I can persuade them. We went to the picture gallery. The scene was incredible. Hundreds of portraits had come to life, wandering the corridors. Kings, queens, princes, princesses from every era. Some were familiar. King Alfred, William the Conqueror, Edward the Confessor. Some were Anglo-Saxon kings I had never heard of. They were all angry, all seeking revenge. Henry VIII called out to them, "Stop!" His voice was so powerful that all the spirits stopped. "I am Henry VIII, your king. Listen to me." William the Conqueror approached. "Henry Tudor, you are not of my bloodline." "You are right. I am a Tudor. But we have all suffered the same pain. We were all imprisoned by the Windsors." Alfred the Great spoke. "I've been imprisoned for 1,000 years. I want my kingdom of Wessex back." "Alfred," Anne Boleyn approached, "your kingdom of Wessex no longer exists. Even England is no longer a kingdom. It's a republic." "A republic?" All the kings were shocked. "Yes, the people govern themselves now. There is no king." Edward the Confessor was stunned. "Has God's order of kingship been destroyed?" "No," I said. "God's justice has been served. No one has absolute power over anyone else anymore." Charles the Vaughan added, "This is actually a good thing. I was killed because of absolute monarchy." Henry VIII shook his head. "I, too, had great power. I had many people killed. Perhaps this is better." Anne Boleyn looked at all the spirits. "My friends, we have all suffered, but the time for suffering is over. The time for peace has come." William the Conqueror thought, "I've been fighting for 950 years. I'm tired." Alfred the Great added, "Me too. I protected my country. I did my duty. Now I can rest." One by one, all the king's anger subsided. Centuries of hatred gave way to peace. Elizabeth I stood up. "Then let us go together, to peace, together." All the spirits joined hands. They formed a great circle of light. "Thomas," Henry VIII turned to me, "you are the guardian. We accept you as our follower." "Thank you, Your Majesty." "One last request. If the Windsor family returns, stop them. This kind of imprisonment must never happen again. I promise." The light shone brightly. Hundreds of royal spirits found peace at the same time. The palace fell silent. The portraits returned to normal. Dr. Adams and the security guards woke up. "Thomas," Dr. Adams stared in bewilderment. "What happened? Was I dreaming?" "No, it was real. But it's over now." As we stepped outside, Anne Boleyn appeared one last time. "Thomas, you stopped 3 great threats. The Tower bells, the Windsor flames, and the royal portraits. You have become a true guardian." "Thank you, Anne. But your task isn't over yet." "What do you mean?" "There's one final threat, the biggest one, and it's coming very soon." "What is it?" "The crown jewels, the royal crown. It's no ordinary crown. It holds a very ancient, very powerful spirit, and that spirit will never want to find peace." My heart raced. "When?" "Very soon. Maybe even tonight." At that moment, the phone rang. It was Dr. Chen. "Thomas, emergency. They're calling from the Tower of London. The security system at the Crown Jewels has failed, and the crown is moving." As I turned toward the Tower of London, Anne Boleyn's words echoed in my ears. The Crown Jewels, the royal crown, the crown that held the oldest, most powerful spirit. And tonight, it had awakened. As Dr. Chen sped toward the tower in his car, the voices on the radio were frightening. Commander Phillips, the tower's security chief, was in a panic. Terrible things are happening in the Jewel House. St. Edward's crown is slowly rising into the air. Everyone who approaches is fainting. 2 security guards caught fire. Caught fire? Dr. Chen asked. They suddenly burst into flames when they approached the crown. It's as if invisible flames are coming from the crown. This was much worse. Other spirits were just angry or sad, but the spirit of the crown was directly lethal. When we arrived at the tower, the fire department, police and ambulances had cordoned off the area. A strange light was emanating from the Jewel House, golden in color, but with red flames inside. Commander Phillips greeted me. "Thomas, you finally made it. This is your expertise." What exactly happened? The alarm went off at 9:30 p.m. Security cameras showed it emerging from the St. Edward's crown display case. It slowly rose into the air, hovering in the middle. Did anyone go inside? 2 employees tried to enter. One suffered burns, the other fainted. They're in the hospital now. Did you evacuate the Jewel House? Yes. But the crown is still there, and there are strange noises coming from it. What kind of noises? Screams, as if thousands of people are screaming at once. Anne Boleyn appeared. "Thomas, the spirit inside the crown is very old, at least 2,000 years old. The spirit of Roman Emperor Caligula." Caligula, that Roman emperor? Yes. That crown came from Rome. It was taken from Caligula's head in 40 AD, after he was killed. But his spirit remained in the crown. How did Caligula end up in the English crown? It's a long story. The crown went to Byzantium, then was brought to England during the Crusades. In 1066, William the Conqueror made it part of the English crown jewels. Why is Caligula so dangerous? Because he's not just angry. He's mad, power mad, and he wants revenge for being imprisoned for 2,000 years. I approached the Jewel House. The light coming from inside hurt my eyes. The sound was terrifying, thousands of screams as if coming from a single throat. "Phillips, give me a hazmat suit. I'm going in." "Thomas, it's too dangerous. I'm a guardian. This is my job." I put on the special protective suit and took the oxygen system. When I opened the door to the Jewel House, the terrible heat hit my face. Inside, it was like hell. St. Edward's crown hung in the air, 6 meters high. Golden light and red flames swirled around it, and on top of the crown was a terrifying figure. Caligula. Dressed as the Roman emperor, he was very tall, with mad eyes. You could see the madness brought on by 2,000 years of imprisonment. "Who are you?" he roared. He had a Latin accent. "I'm Thomas Mitchell, guardian." "Guardian, are you my new guard? Are you going to imprison me?" "No, I've come to set you free." Caligula was stunned. "Free, after 2,000 years?" "Yes. No one can imprison you anymore." "Lie," he screamed. "Everyone has tried to imprison me. Roman senators, Byzantine emperors, English kings, they all imprisoned me." The flames grew stronger. My suit's heat alarm started beeping. "Caligula, there is no more imprisonment. No one is against you anymore." "Then why are they releasing me? It must be a trick." "It's not a trick. We just have justice now." "Justice?" He laughed like a madman. "I am the Roman emperor. I am God. Who can bring me justice?" I remembered history. Caligula had indeed declared himself a god. A mad tyrant. "Caligula, you are no longer emperor. Rome fell long ago." "Lie. My empire is eternal. No, the Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 AD. The Eastern Roman Empire ended in 1453. Caligula seemed shocked. Impossible. Rome is eternal. It ended 1,500 years ago. Now there's a country called Italy, a democracy. A democracy? The people rule? Yes. Caligula's rage intensified. No, the people are slaves. I am God. I rule. The flames grew so powerful that my suit began to melt. I had to retreat. Anne Boleyn entered. Thomas, be careful. He is not a normal spirit. What do you mean? Caligula was insane while alive. After death, he remained insane for another 2,000 years. He cannot speak rationally. Then how can I persuade him? You cannot. You must stop him. How? Thomas More appeared. Thomas, do you remember how they killed Caligula? Assassination. His own guards killed him. Yes, because no one could stand him anymore. You must do the same. How do you kill a spirit? Anne replied, with guardian power. You are now on equal footing with them. At that moment, Caligula noticed me. You're evading my taxes. I declare you a slave. He reached out, and a terrifying wave of energy came. The stone floor melted where it struck. Caligula, I shouted, you are no longer anyone's emperor. I am everyone's emperor. I am God. He attacked again. This time the energy wave was stronger. My suit was completely damaged. Mom yelled, Thomas, use your guardian power. How? With your instincts. You can act like a spirit too. Felt the energy inside me. All the battles for justice at the Tower of London, the peace at Windsor, the support of the royal spirits at Buckingham. I pointed my hand at Caligula. A white light came out. I am Guardian Thomas Mitchell, and you can no longer rule anyone. My light struck Caligula. It felt like pain for the first time. Impossible. You are mortal. You cannot touch me. I am not just mortal. I am justice. I attacked again. This time, stronger. Caligula's flames diminished. No, I am God. God cannot be defeated. You are not God. You are just a mad tyrant. I made my final attack. I used all my guardian power. The light was so bright, I had to close my eyes. Caligula screamed horribly. No, my empire. As the light faded, I saw that Caligula had vanished. St. Edward's crown fell to the ground, now just a normal crown. But then something terrible happened. All the walls of the jewel house began to crack. With Caligula's 2,000-year-old power gone, the structure it held up was collapsing. Thomas! Anne shouted. Get out now, the building is collapsing. I ran. When I reached the door, a terrible noise came from behind me. The roof of the jewel house had collapsed. Outside, Commander Phillips was waiting anxiously. Thomas, are you okay? I'm fine. And the threat is over. What about the crown? It's just an ordinary crown now. Safe. Dr. Chen approached. Thomas, this is the 4th paranormal event in a week. What else is there? Anne Boleyn appeared. Thomas, all the major dangers are over now. Tower bells, Windsor flames, royal portraits, and crown jewels. You have become a true guardian. Thank you, Anne. Now you too can rest in peace forever. Yes, but first I must give you one last thing. Anne extended her hand. A small key appeared in my hand. What is this? The Guardian Legacy Key. With this you can access all the royal secret archives. If new threats arise in the future, you can investigate them with this key. Will there be other threats? Perhaps. Power vacuums always create new threats. but you will be ready." Anne smiled one last time. "Now I truly find peace. Farewell, Thomas Mitchell. You will remain the guardian." She disappeared, this time truly forever. 2 months later, I had grown accustomed to my new life. I officially held the title of Paranormal Heritage Consultant. I investigated supernatural occurrences at historical sites across England. London had returned to normal life. The royal family was gone. A republic had been established. People were freer, happier. But I knew my mission continued. Using the Guardian Key, I accessed various secret archives, preparing for future threats. And sometimes, especially during night shifts, I still feel them. Anne Boleyn, Thomas More, Brother Benedict, they are all at peace, but still with me. Because being a guardian isn't just about bringing peace to spirits. It's also about being prepared to protect justice in the future. 6 months had passed since those horrific events. A new order had been established in England. A president had been elected, and the parliamentary system had been strengthened. The royal family was history. I was now working full-time as a guardian. My official title was Paranormal Heritage Specialist, but my real job was very different. I investigated and neutralized supernatural threats at all historical sites across England. The Weeping Woman's spirit at Edinburgh Castle, the bloody warrior ghosts at Warwick Castle, the priest spirits at Canterbury Cathedral. I had brought peace to them all. But the call I received this morning was different. "Thomas, it's Dr. Sarah Chen. We have an emergency." "Where?" "Balmoral Castle, Scotland. Something very strange is happening." "How strange?" "Former members of the royal family. They're trying to come back." My heart stopped. "What do you mean, trying to come back?" "King Charles, Prince William, Kate Middleton. Their spirits have begun to materialize at Balmoral, but not like normal spirits. They're very powerful, and in revenge mode." This was impossible. The royal family was still alive. How could their spirits have separated? "Dr. Chen, are they dead?" "No, they're still alive. But the local people in Balmoral are seeing their powerful spiritual copies, and these copies are very angry. What do they want? Revenge, their throne back, and to find and kill you." 2 hours later, I was flying to Scotland. On the plane, I researched Balmoral in the Royal Archives using the Guardian Key. Balmoral Castle had been the royal family's summer residence since 1852. But it had a much older history. Powerful families had lived here since the 13th century. And when all these families lost their power, they created powerful spiritual copies here. It was a defense mechanism. Royal families who lost their power created powerful copies of their spirits as a last resort, trying to seek revenge. But these copies were very dangerous. They were much more powerful and much more aggressive than the original people. When I arrived at Balmoral, the village had been evacuated. Local police and Scotland Yard had cordoned off the area. Inspector MacDonald greeted me. "Thomas Mitchell? Paranormal expert?" "Yes." "What's the situation?" "Terrible things are happening at the castle. Last night, King Charles's spirit roamed the village, yet it seriously injured 2 farmers. This morning, Prince William's ghost appeared. He was aggressive, too. Can I talk to anyone who saw them?" "Yes. But be careful. What they saw is very frightening." I spoke to James MacLeod, a villager. The old man was still trembling. "I saw him," he said. "Charles Windsor. But he wasn't normal. He was very tall. His eyes were glowing like fire, and he was very angry." "What did he say?" "I want my throne back," he said. "Whoever put me in this situation, I will find them," he said. Then he asked for your name. My name? Yes. Where is Thomas Mitchell? He asked. I told him I didn't know. Then he got angry and overturned my car. This was very bad. Powerful spiritual copies had targeted me. As I approached the castle, I felt a strange energy, just like when I encountered Caligula at the Crown Jewels. But this time it was much stronger, much more organized. At the main gate of Balmoral Castle, I saw a horrific scene. Messages written in blood on the gates. Thomas Mitchell, royal betrayer. Death to the Guardian. The crown will return. I entered the castle. The corridors were freezing cold. My breath came out in clouds with every step. When I entered the main hall, I saw them. 3 spiritual copies stood side by side. King Charles, but twice his normal size, eyes fiery red, royal robes black. Prince William, young but full of rage, energy balls in his hands. Kate Middleton, terrifyingly beautiful but very aggressive, black aura around her. Thomas Mitchell, Charles's copy, roared. You finally came. I was looking for you. Of course you were. You ruined our lives. I served justice. William's copy stepped forward. Justice? You took our throne. You humiliated us. You were the guilty ones. You had people killed. Kate's copy laughed maniacally. And now we'll kill you. We'll have our revenge. All 3 attacked. Energy waves, fireballs, and psychic assaults. I used my guardian power. I created a white light shield. It blocked the attacks, but they were very powerful. You're just mortal, Charles shouted. We are royal power. No, I said. You're just shadows of the past. William attacked again. Shadows of the past. We are the real thing. The real Charles, the real William, the real Kate are still alive. We are their powerful versions. Could this be true? Were these copies powerful versions of the living royal family? Kate explained. Yes, Thomas. We are their powerful spiritual reflections. They lost their power. We took their power. Then you are just as guilty as they are. No, we are powerful. The powerful are not guilty. I heard Anne Boleyn's voice in my head. Thomas, these are not normal spirits. They are power parasites. The crystallized form of the worst aspects of the royal family. How can I stop them? You must stop their creator. There is a powerful ritual chamber beneath Balmoral. That is where they are created. Where? The lowest level of the castle. Secret passage. Charles heard me. No, you're not going to the ritual chamber. Their attacks intensified. I was struggling to defend myself now. Thomas, William shouted, you don't understand our power. We are the sum of thousands of years of royal power. I had to find the ritual room. I began to retreat, running down the corridor. They followed me. Thomas Mitchell, you can't escape. We'll find you everywhere. I found the basement entrance. I went down. It was very dark, very cold. On the lowest floor was a huge ritual room. In the center, a golden circle, surrounded by ancient royal symbols, and inside the circle, a terrifying machine, the power multiplication machine. This machine took the power of the living royal family, multiplied it, and created aggressive copies. Next to the machine was an old man. I recognized him. Dr. Morrison's former partner, Professor Blackwood. Thomas Mitchell, he said. You're finally here. You're running this machine. Yes, to bring back the royal family. They were guilty. They don't deserve it. What does deserve mean? They are nobles, natural rulers. Ordinary people like you cannot rule them. The copies came up behind me, filling the room. "Blackwood," Charles shouted. "Kill Thomas." No, the professor remained, calm. "I won't kill him. I will transform him." "What do you mean?" "Thomas, you are a guardian. You are very powerful. If you join us, we can bring back the royal family with their true powers." The machine had another function. Guardian. Transformation. Never. Then we'll do it by force. The professor pressed the button. The machine sent an energy beam towards me. When it hit, I felt excruciating pain. My guardian power was beginning to reverse, from justice to vengeance, from peace to rage. No, I resisted. My justice. But the machine was too powerful. My power was slowly turning to evil. At that moment, Anne Boleyn's voice rang out again. "Thomas!" Cut the machine's power source. "Where?" "The royal crown. There's a replica of St. Edward's crown at the machine's center." I looked. There really was a small crown at the center of the machine. With my last ounce of strength, I aimed at the crown. I sent my guardian light. "No," Professor shouted. "Don't touch the crown." My light struck the crown. The crown shattered. The machine exploded. A terrible explosion. Then silence. The royal copies screamed as they vanished. "This can't be. We are the real ones. The royal line never dies." They were all gone. Professor Blackwood lay on the floor, badly injured. "Thomas," he said with his last breath, You won. But there's something you need to know." "What?" This isn't the end. There are other power centers in the world. They will want to return, too." "Which power centers?" "The old empires, Rome, Byzantium, the Ottomans. They all lost power. They all want revenge. I'll be ready." The professor smiled. You are a true guardian. Thomas, protect the world." He died. Balmoral Castle fell silent. The threat was over. 3 months later, I was sitting in my new office in London. We had founded the International Paranormal Heritage Foundation. We were investigating historical paranormal threats around the world. Because Professor Blackwood was right. In Rome, Istanbul, Cairo, the spirits of ancient empires were awakening. They all wanted their power back. But I was ready. With my guardian key, I could access all the secret archives. Anne Boleyn's guidance was still with me. And most importantly, my determination to fight for justice never wavered. The phone rang. It was Dr. Chen. "Thomas, new emergency. Strange things are happening at the Colosseum in Rome." "What kind of things?" "Gladiator spirits are rising, and they're seeking revenge." I smiled, packing my bags, heading to Rome. Because being a guardian isn't just a job. It's a way of life, a constant fight for justice. And I, Thomas Mitchell, am ready to fight injustice anywhere in the world. If you experience strange things in historical places, remember, someone is always watching. Someone is always protecting justice. And if you really need help, just say, "Guardian Thomas Mitchell." Maybe I'll answer. If you had to choose between power and justice, which would you choose? Would you risk everything to protect justice? If you're curious about the rest of this story and want to learn about Thomas's adventures in Rome, don't forget to subscribe, because the Guardian story is just beginning.